It is. We need to get a runway or something. The Ducati is lightweight. It's around maybe 300 pounds. It's got 1,000 cc. This is around 3,000 pounds and has a much bigger engine, but we'll see. We'll see. Hey, Alia.
Hey, guys.
Okay, so we're all here. Good morning. We were just chatting about Chicago, and we were chatting about where I am and what's behind me. And
it looks so cool. Where are you?
I am in a garage with a fan on this side, but I wanted to just be with things I love on a social media webinar. So there you go.
That's awesome. Hi, Parisa.
Hi, Alia. Thanks for joining. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Okay, so here we go. We're starting. We are live now, or have been live for the past 5 minutes. So good morning, salam, and namaste from Silicon Valley, California. Welcome and thank you for joining this live webinar on social media marketing influencers. This has been sponsored by Open Silicon Valley. Open stands for a little bit introduction about Open. Open stands for Organization of Pakistani Entrepreneurs. It is an amazing organization for networking and entrepreneurship. And if you would like to check them out, there will be a link provided somewhere during this webinar. So definitely do check them out. It is, Silicon Valley is one of the hubs, and then there are also other chapters, and they're also, their presence is in around 13 different countries. So definitely check their website out. There will be a lot of networking and entrepreneurship help available for you. Some house cleaning items, which I thought would pop up on the screen, and I'll just easily read them. But the only thing which I remember now from that is question and answers. There will be a Q&A over there, which you could see at the bottom of the screen. We'll have a Q&A session towards the end. And so we'll give 15 minutes for that, and we'll go through most of your questions and answers through that. So another house cleaning, just try to have fun. It is an interactive, fun event. Oh, something happened to the screen here. Okay, so there they are. So this webinar, and I've already talked about, I'll just quickly go through. This webinar is organized by Open Silicon Valley. Please keep your line on mute. Questions in the Q&A part. If you like our webinar today, you may want to consider becoming an Open SV member. Like I mentioned, it's an amazing organization, and there's also a special discount code for and if you type influencers. And it does bring down the membership value significantly. Members can get access to members-only events when you get to one-on-one, where you get to chat with one-on-one with speakers and get personalized advice and training regarding entrepreneurship and other questions that you may have. Okay, with that, what are the goals for today? We have two amazing influencers and good friends of mine over here with us. The goals for today are just to have fun. That's why I'm here. And if you learn one or two things along the way, great, that's an added bonus. So let's keep that in mind. I would like to introduce the influencers which we have with us today, but I may not do good justice, so I'm gonna request them to introduce themselves. Alia, could you please start?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Dr. Alia Yaqub. I blog over on Instagram and TikTok under the handle Clear Skin Doc. I am a board certified internist. I did additional training in dermatology, and my day job is actually that I am a startup medical founder, and so I work with startups. I've been the medical founder of 2 startups. I do some angel investing, and I really like supporting female entrepreneurs. My night job, or my hobby, is sort of this whole blogging on Instagram, and recently I started on TikTok as well, so I can share some insights about that. I live here in Silicon Valley with my husband. I have 4 kids. The oldest is 7 and the youngest is 8 months, and so our lives are very busy. And yeah, for me, this is just really fun. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Parisa?
Hi, guys. I'm Parisa Mirza Khan, and I basically started being a part of social media simply 2 years ago. Last year was my first year, and I've always been interested in social media, Facebook and whatnot, but then I decided to take it to another level, and blogging has been a passion for me. And what I love doing is reading. That is my hobby, and I wanted to extend that hobby and share with the world what I'm reading and my thoughts and discussions. And social media and all these platforms have helped extend my message. So I really enjoy doing that. I'm a bibliophile, and it's so enjoyable to hear all these stories all around the world with people who also have relevant passions. Along with that, I opened an e-commerce shop this year by the name of Enchant by Parisa. And it's just another extension of my passion, which is books. And so I sell bibliophile items, novelties such as tote bags, socks, jewelry. And what I am so passionate about is that many portions of the proceeds go to social justices, such as Black Lives Matter and other things that I feel need more awareness. So social media has really helped amplify the passions. And apart from that, I have 3 kids, a hubby, and I live in Silicon Valley. And I am so honored to share this panel with great friends of mine who are also from Silicon Valley. And yeah, I'm in Chicago right now, so I am streaming live from here. We landed last night, and we will be spending many weeks here. So yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell, and I hope to share a lot more tips and tricks with you guys. And thank you, OpenSV, for including me in this awesome panel discussion.
Awesome. Now, a little bit about myself. My introduction is not as elaborate as those two, but my name is Faisal Chima. I am a physician and a hematologist, oncologist by training, passionate about what I do, but I'm equally passionate about supercars, and I'm sitting in a garage and probably sleep here sometimes too, next to my cars. So, if you are interested in cars and bikes and stuff, do check my handle out. I'll give you a link later on. So, so let's now get to the nitty gritty. So we know that half of the world population, around 3.4 billion people, yes, 3.4 billion people are using social media platforms one way or the other, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and so on and so forth. And brands and marketing companies have realized that. And that makes the role of social media influencers and social media influencer marketing even more important now compared to before. So what is the definition of a social media influencer? To me, someone who has passion about a certain niche, and then they have taken that passion, as Parisa pointed out, to the next level, in which they want to share the passion like Alia and Parisa did with the world. They develop the respect by posting stuff about that, and they have developed the followership just because people have put their trust in them based on their command on their niche and their matter. And brands and entrepreneurs realize that, and then they would like to use that opportunity to influence the people and into and in that way improve the entrepreneurship for them, sales, or whatever influence they would want to create, even create trends. So that's what I think in a nutshell an influencer is. It is not easy, and that's what we'll talk about, but definitely these two influencers over here are the best people who you could talk to in how to start and grow. There are different levels. I did some research. Hey, so there are different levels of influencers, which I learned. There are these mega influencers, and I wish there was a drum roll. I'll just you could hear that. But mega influencers are celebrities. They don't have, most of them don't really have a niche, but because of their fame, they are mega influencers. They have millions of followers. And I have a quiz for you, and you can just type it in the Q&A now. Can you name the top 2 or 3 mega influencers which you know? No Google search allowed. Just go ahead and type that answer. I'll give the answer in a little bit. So those are the mega influencers. Number two, then there are the macro influencers, which are the main influencers for marketing and entrepreneurship and branding. And macro influencers have developed a significant followers, and again, through their passion, through their command on their respective topic. And we have two such macro influencers over here from whom we can learn how did they develop their brand and how did they pursue their entrepreneurship dream since they started. So before we do that, actually, I think I have some answers over here already, and we'll. Oh, interesting. Yeah. No, Mom, it's not me. I'm not one of a mega influencer right now, but I will eventually be. Okay. Thank you, Mom. You know, moms are. Okay. So, Cristiano Ronaldo, he has the most followership on Instagram. One post by him is $1 million for one post. And so that's one way to make money. And then Kylie Jenner, I don't know who she is, but the name popped up. And so $1 million for a single post. So if you're a mega influencer, you've reached that million followership, you can just post and make money. And that's how they're influencing trends and cultures. Okay, moving on. A little bit, just my story briefly. I am new to the Instagram world. I started around 3 to 4 months ago. And before that, I heard about Instagram, but I was like, okay, you know what? I don't want to get into that. And one day I was with a group of friends and they kept saying IG, IG, IG. And I was like, what in the world is IG? And they said, dude, have you been living under the rock? So I said, that's Instagram. I said, okay. So then a couple months fast forward later, I called Parisa and I was like, Parisa, you know what? You know, I love cars. Can you please mentor me? And she was kind enough to take that 1 hour call. And she helped me start my Instagram page and then guided me along the way. And that was very nice because I think the first thing which people have anxiety about from my experience is, where do I start? So the first question for you, Alia, would be, what are the 3 or maybe 4 things which you would suggest or recommend to someone who has been thinking about this for a while, is passionate about a certain thing, and just doesn't know where to start?
Yeah, that's a great question. So just a little bit about my path to sort of tell you about that is I started my Instagram, my public Instagram page in late 2016, I believe it was. Before that, I'd been on Instagram since 2009, posting pictures of half-eaten nachos and sushi and like unfiltered, like just silly stuff, you know, that we were posting. And it really was at the end of 2016 that I really felt like, oh gosh, like I want to do something that creates value for other people. And so the story is, I was a medical founder of this company called Forward. I had a concierge panel of patients, many of whom were celebrities, athletes, musicians, basically really influential people who were very well connected, very privileged, very educated. And being their personal doctor, I started realizing they don't know how to take care of their skin. They had the most basic questions. It almost seemed like no matter who you are or how much you have or how educated you are, people were just confused. What am I supposed to use first? A cleanser? Like, where does my moisturizer fit in? What steps are there? And so I actually created a skincare sort of consult service for our startup and for our patients. And then I thought, gosh, I wish I could make this information just readily available online. And so I created this Instagram page at Clear Skin Doc, and my whole intention was just to create education about skincare. What are the steps? What are the ingredients? What works? What doesn't? And it was interesting because the evolution was people were interested in me. They were interested in, who are you and what's your life like and what are you doing and what do you like and what are you wearing and what products do you like? And so as I started getting that feedback from people, I was like, oh gosh, like they really want to know about me. It's less about what I'm educating on and they want to know about me. And so that's how it, you know, sort of my Instagram presence developed into like a more of a lifestyle blogging experience, I would call it. And it sort of evolved from there. And one thing that I keep in mind, and I started doing the first day that I started up until now, is every piece of content that I put out there, I think, is this valuable to my, readership? Is this valuable to the people that are part of my community? And so before I post anything, it's always like, is this valuable? If there is no value to what I'm posting, I won't post it. And so what is value? I think that's, that's very subjective, but to me, it's like, am I teaching people something? Am I providing them something that will improve their lives? Am I giving them an information or a link or, a suggestion that may help them live a better life or improve their life in some way? That could be something as trivial as a link to my favorite shoes, or it could be something as consequential as a link to a social justice platform or a petition, or it could be a post that's filled with how-tos or suggestions to improve your career, or, how do you negotiate your first job contract? My content is sort of all over the place. I started with skincare and have sort of evolved into skincare, beauty, lifestyle, career strategy, motivation. So, it's been hard for me personally to create a niche, but I highly recommend that if you do have a niche, you will end up doing better, faster. People will identify you as sort of an authority in that niche. And so if you can stick to that, that's really great. I have a friend who started Instagram 2 years ago and now has a huge, massive following. And all she posts about is everyday style. She's stuck to that niche. She keeps it very casual. And she is just absolutely blown up. She's the #1 influencer on the Like to Know app, which is sort of this like fashion referral app that a lot of people know about. And so, if you stick to your guns and you put yourself out there and you're authentic and you have, you show your personality, I think that those are the most important things. It's hard when you start. I mean, it's awkward. You're like, what are my friends going to think? What is my family going to think? Who's going to make fun of me, behind my back? And you really just have to put all of that behind you and just do it, because you have to have conviction and you have to have resolve and you have to just believe in yourself. And you will also find during this journey, I don't know if you've experienced it yet, Faisal or Parisa, but you will grow a thick skin, because sometimes people will share opinions with you, or, like just the other day, I think it was yesterday, I posted a picture and someone said, oh gosh, your neck is so dark and your face is so light. That's like, and it kind of took me, it took me aback, and you just learn to sort of like brush it off, because it doesn't matter. I mean, most of the time people are not trying to be mean. It's just they're expressing an opinion, and when it comes off in text form, it's like, oh, like, is that an insult or not? So yeah, I think recapping, the steps are: put yourself out there, be authentic, and post in a niche if you can. If you can't, that's okay. You can be like a lifestyle blogger, but post things that have value to your followership. Like post things that are helpful, they're educational, or they provide some sort of value to people's lives.
That was very good. Parisa, so I'm going to move on to you. And how did you create your brand? What was the start? How did you start? And what were the 3 or 4 important things which you would let the audience know?
So yeah, that's a great question, and the hardest thing, because, not everybody, but a lot of people do want to, get on social media and share stuff, but trying to find your passion is like a lifelong struggle in general, right? And then taking that passion and then, amplifying it. So that was the hardest part for me. And I honestly I was having a conversation with a friend, and I have to say, this whole thing started, I was very complacent. Like, I was on social media, but I did not think I would take it to like an influencer level. So I had a friend literally tap me on the shoulder, and she was like, girlfriend, you need to, you're good with pictures, you're into fashion and whatnot, you should use it on social media. And that is what was like the aha moment. And I would joke with her and I'd say, one day I'm actually going to say thank you to you. And that friend is Noreen. So, I have to give her that shout out, that Noreen did say that to me. And And then from then on, it was like putting it in the cosmos, and things just kind of started rolling out. And I was like, you know what, I need to think about it. So then I basically would just observe, like, what am I really into? So I think that is the hardest question, is trying to figure out, you know, what your passion is, and then you you know, put yourself out there, because that is what you really enjoy. So for me, it was books, primarily books. But like Alia, I have offshoots, like there's lifestyle, there's motivation, there's fitness, there's travel, there's so much. And at times I think like I want to compartmentalize it, like maybe have different accounts, but I would not advise that. I think, like, personally, like, I just like having one account, and it's one big, you know, ecosystem of me. And so just, you know, put in all those categories together, such as lifestyle, art, and everything. So yeah, so you have to have your passion, and just keep speaking about it, add value, and be consistent. I think consistency is also very important with content creation, and do it multiple times a week. And my personal strategy is that I have, like, every week on Sunday, I'll basically brainstorm, like, okay, these are the targets that I want to hit this week. And so, you know, I want to post about this, I want to talk about that. Another thing that is very important is being extremely progressive with the platforms, such as Instagram recently came out with Reels. It's like TikTok, which I have not joined because my teenage kids have banned me from that, because already they're like, on Instagram, mom, you're, you know, okay, whatever, we're not going there, but do not join TikTok. So, but I didn't join TikTok. TikTok came to me. So, so TikTok, so the Reel is kind of like a rendition of TikTok. And so at first it was hard to, like, learn real the function, and then I did my first one. But the whole point is, you know, be progressive. When there are new features, try to adhere to them, and you're going to make mistakes. And I feel like making mistakes is part of the journey. People see you mistakes, they can resonate with that. It gives them more confidence to do the same. And I have to say, like, Alia has been my mentor, because, like, I see her do a lot of stuff, and it really gives me strength and motivation and ambition to also do the same. So I think all of that combined helps you grow, and it's just a trial and error type of thing. Just do it. I think that's the
Just do it. That's right. So yeah, so what I'm hearing is passion, make sure you're consistent, and just post and be honest, and you will grow when people can sense honesty and they can sense passion. So
right.
that's what I'm hearing. Those are all really good advice. Great. So moving on with my story. So, and so you set up the account, you do that first post. By the way, Reel is amazing, because I also did my first Reel, and it was very, like, how do I do this? What do I create? There's this, that. But eventually, after my first Reel, which was a week ago, I've already done 3 or 4. And so moving, and another great advice from both of you is moving with the trends, so that what the trends are, that's what people want to know. And if you can adapt to that quickly, then obviously you're going to keep growing. And all right, so I opened up my account. I kept posting. Initially, I was scared, anxious, what should I post, and all that stuff. And eventually, I kept posting. But 4 months down the road, I don't think I'm growing the way I want to. I thought I would be far ahead and all that stuff. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I would like to hear from you guys as to, okay, I've reached my first 1,000 followers. How do I, thank you. How do I multiply? How do I go from there? Are there any milestones and timelines which which you guys had when you guys were growing? Ali?
Yeah, growth is a big question people have. It's frustrating, I'll be honest with you. Instagram is a really a difficult platform to grow on. A few years ago, it was much easier than it is now. It seems like the algorithm is just doesn't really help you out. So my current tips for that are, first off, don't get into your head and play mind games with yourself. Don't have high expectations for yourself about numbers of followers. I think it's not about that. What you really want to focus on is putting out great content that people can share, And then also like become friendly and familiar with people in your category. So for me, I'm, in the physician sort of category, and there's a huge community of female physicians on Instagram who do something similar to what I do. And do a lot of education. And so we all became friends. We're all friends in real life now over the last several years. Like we've all met up and done conferences together. And these women have become sort of like my online tribe. So definitely reach out to people in your category, amplify each other's messages. So repost their stuff, they'll repost your stuff. And that's really how you get the greatest exposure to different audiences who might be like, oh, I like cars too. Let me like follow Faisal's account as well. So yeah, I think that's sort of like the number one easiest way to get, I guess, more exposure is to amplify other people's messages. I see Parisa doing that a lot, which is great. And I see other folks doing it. I try to amplify messages of my friends and colleagues as well. I think that's super helpful. And then really have diverse sort of types of content to get you out there. So if there's a new trend like Reels, jump on that and start posting because at the beginning when Instagram is looking to promote content, they are going to promote the early creators on each different mini platform, which in this case is Reels on Instagram. I post on IGTV. I'll also talk about TikTok really quick because that's sort of like the next big platform, and not next big, it's already huge. It's massive. I mean, there's a lot of political stuff wrapped up in that with the whole possible ban and acquisition. But apart from that, TikTok is a really, really great platform that I resisted getting on. And I have friends who joined in February and March who have hundreds of thousands of followers and are just creating really great, helpful content. It's much easier to grow on TikTok than it is on Instagram. So I would recommend thinking about getting on there. If you're doing Reels, you can just, repost that content on TikTok, and TikTok's algorithm makes it so that it's just way easier to grow. So I've been on TikTok for 2 months and I think I have like 50,000 followers and I haven't been posting very often. So it's just a rapid growth platform. And a lot of the, followers are international, they're younger, they're really eager to like get knowledge and learn. So for sure, don't write off TikTok, you guys. But yeah, I mean, those are, I guess, my tips for growth. Just don't put pressure on yourself, collaborate with other people, team up. And, if you're putting out good content, people will find you. Some people have this strategy of doing giveaways. That's hit or miss. I think if you're a fashion blogger, doing giveaways is really helpful for helping you grow. If you're not a fashion blogger, sometimes it just doesn't really pan out. It's not worth it. I've tried giveaways. I don't think they really contribute to a lot of growth. I think just being authentic and real is the best way to go.
Okay, cool. Parisa?
Yeah, so Alia mentions a lot of the main points, which is being authentic. And I think that energy of community on Instagram is huge. When you support others, they support you back. And I think being genuine, like genuine support, not just like, oh, hey, like for like, follow for follow, pat my back, I pat your back. Like, I really have met like really authentic, kind people on Instagram where I've never physically met them, but if they're not on Instagram for weeks, I will be concerned and send them a direct message like, hey, everything okay? And so, building relationships on Instagram and introducing yourself, using your messages a lot, and giving like a personal message like, hey, introducing yourself and whatnot, like those relationships really help out. And then from there, you can do collaborations, you can do IG lives, and just really keep going on the platforms and doing stuff with other people and getting exposed to their audience and them being exposed to your audience. So it's really networking. It's social media, and it is exactly what it states. It's socializing on a social platform. So it takes time to have an organic growth. You have to wait, you have to be patient, and it's like a weeding process. Like sometimes we get frustrated. Like there were times where I would just be like, wow, this is taking so long, nothing's gonna happen. But then you just have to keep going at it without any expectations. And when you have that passion, it's your passion that takes you further. because you love it so much, with or without a following. And then it comes when you least expect it. So I think just focusing on your passion and putting out content and having a good, authentic virtual tribe helps out a lot. And carrying that really authentic and good energy with others on Instagram.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And so we already talked about how social media influence marketing is these days. It's gaining a lot of popularity, a lot of brands, and everyone's using that. So that's one way if you want to go the monetary route and make money. Obviously, you can either become an influencer, or you can also take it next level of entrepreneurship and develop your own brand. You both have developed something like that, and shot by Parisa and then Kirsten Doc. I am following both of you. You guys are putting amazing posts out there. But what do you expect along the way? Someone who's growing now, and they want to develop their brand now and take it to the next level of entrepreneurship. What advice would you have for the audience for that? Parisa, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah. So that's a great question. And I noticed, like, whenever there would be a celebrity that was discovered, like in general in life, they would come out with like a perfume, like so random. Like an athlete is coming out with a perfume, a singer's coming out with a perfume. Like, what is this perfume business? And so, I mean, my background is in marketing and business, and it hit me. I was like, wow, they are really legitimizing their celebrity, right? Like their celebrity presence. So I think if you are going to be an influencer, I mean, as much as we love these platforms, you should take it to the next level and monetize it, right? I mean, why not? It's a good situation, and it could be in education, it could be in anything, but monetize it. And that's when I decided to start my company, which was Enchant by Parisa, and start selling products and also support things that I'm very passionate about, like social causes and whatnot. So for me, it was my company, and I, for 2021, have another project in mind, which I will launch and keep the suspense going on. But yeah, there's, I think starting something like a company, whatnot, and then having more offshoots is always a good thing, because you are an influencer, right? And so now you want to use your voice, your passion, the information that is inside of you. You want to use that with an optimal force. So yeah.
Great. Alia, would you like to add something? I know there will be a lot to learn from you.
So when it comes to monetization, I think it's really interesting because you have this young generation now that's like, when I grow up, I want to be a YouTube star, and that's how I want to make my money. Because you hear these examples of like this 12-year-old kid who does unpackaging videos and is now a millionaire. And I'll just echo the sentiment that it's not guaranteed. So it's really actually, it's tricky to monetize, and you have to have some business skills. Actually, you have to kind of learn on the side. In my case, I launched a sunglasses brand last year, and then realized, or 2 years ago, I think now, and then realized it was very difficult to sort of manage that with all of my startup work and my family and all my other obligations. And so I kind of shut that down. I also have a project that I'm working on for next year. And I have a few sort of academic pursuits related to Instagram that I hopefully will be launching next year as well. But I would talk about influencers, and I don't love that term because I don't think of myself as an influencer. I think of myself sort of like as a regular person who puts out content, a content creator, I guess you could say. And not somebody who, I think the term influencer has gotten a bad rap, right? You have these like, I don't know, bikini models and like fashion models. I mean, whatever, like they're pitching, and selling you like gummy vitamins and like, hey guys, like I got this really cool new, like, I don't know, hairbrush or whatever. So I don't think of myself as that. And I don't think of any of us as that. I think of us as content creators, and PR firms and brands come and they look at content creators, and what they look at is not the number of followers necessarily, but they look at how sticky your followers are, what your engagement is. Like, how many comments do you get on a post? How many likes do you get? How many views do you get on your stories? They will ask you for these stats, and then they will match you up with campaigns. And so, for instance, I work with, I don't have a lot of bandwidth to work with a lot of brands, but I'm very picky and will pick and choose a few. And some of the ones that I've really enjoyed working with are skincare brands like CeraVe. I worked with Facebook. They have a product called Portal. I worked with Honest Beauty, Neutrogena, and a few other brands that I respect and use and like, and I think they'll reach out to you. Sometimes you can pitch to them if you have time. So this is a little known sort of entry point, but you can reach out to brands directly through their social media page and just ask who's the best contact for your, social or PR team. And then you can pitch them an idea and say, give them a one-liner like, hey, I blog about this. I have this following. Here's an idea I have to work with you. Would you be interested? And a lot of times they'll say no, or, we're not working on something like that right now, but often they'll send you a PR package with all of their products, which is another kind of interesting, sort of exciting thing about being on social media is you just get a lot of free stuff. I don't know if people talk about that. My husband thinks it's crazy. We get so many packages every single day. He's like, oh my God, is it something that you ordered or something that they sent you?
I'm waiting for my free car to arrive one day.
I mean, you know what? Like in your future, what I see is car brands having you be like a tester and say like, hey, Dr. Chima, come out like to Germany and like, let's have you drive this new like
Dream job.
No, I mean, that's literally what they do. I have a friend who was given a G-Wagon to try out and drive around. And so it's, it's possible. But I think the thing that's really confusing for people starting out and that's very like cloudy is like, how do you actually make money? How much money do you make? And that has to do with a combination of things, how engaged your followers are, how many followers you have, how much experience you have creating content, and how your followers convert when you post links, or if you post a promo code, how much business the brand essentially gets. And over time you can sort of get paid more and more. But I think the general rule of thumb that I was taught early on was $100 per 10,000 followers is kind of like a interesting starting point. I don't really stick to that. I think part of it has to do with also what you've built in your niche and negotiating. And so if you're a good negotiator, you can definitely get a lot more than that. And you can pitch to brands and make a decent amount of money. I don't personally make a lot of money on Instagram because I just don't have the time to put into those collaborations. Parisa can speak to this too. It takes a lot of time to actually do some of those collaborations. You have to put together Instagram stories on multiple occasions. You have to do a post. They have really rigid guidelines. You have to read through these documents. You have to sign contracts. It's not easy. It really is work. So be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, so what it sounds like is it's not just the followers, it's how much commenting, what you post. If people are commenting a lot, they're loving your post, there are lots of likes coming in. There's some different parameters which you have to, which they gauge, and so you have to be passionate about it and keep at it. And that actually, before I ask my next question, let me see Q&A. To the audience, we are open for questions, and I'm going to go over all the questions which are there. So please start typing your questions, and we'll go over in the next 5 minutes. I just wanted to ask one last question. We talked about hard work, and I definitely agree. For example, myself, I have a job. I'm a physician, and so I have my day job, and then I also want to do my Instagram account. So there's quite a bit of time which is required, which I'm realizing. So how do you balance your, obviously to grow anything, in whatever field you are, you need to put hard work in there. There's no easy way. So how do you do it? Are you on it on Instagram, TikTok all the time, or what's your routine? I guess that's what I would like to know.
Since you mentioned TikTok, I'll say this. So I create content on a schedule. I'm very regimented about when I'm on and when I'm off. I will post on Instagram stories throughout the day. It'll take me like less than 30 seconds. I'll just post organically something that came to mind, an interesting article that I read, something that I might feel is helpful to my audience. But in terms of posts and content creation, I do that during the quiet hours of the night usually, or morning before my kids are awake. And I try to limit myself to an hour per day on social media altogether. On TikTok, it's great. You can record a bunch of videos and then release them sort of over the course of a week. So that's what I do. I don't produce content there every day, but I just create content in advance and then just post it. I think the key is to maintain your sanity and balance. You don't want to be on social media all the time. Given, you know, the fact that I have a day job and I have 4 kids, there's just a lot going on. And so I have to really set those boundaries. There was a time, I will be honest, where I was like, gosh, I'm not growing. Like I need to produce better content. And so I was spending a lot more time trying to figure out like, what do people want to see? What do people want to engage with? Like, how come I'm not getting, you know, the response that I want? And I was spending a lot more time, and I thought, gosh, like I can't do this. It's not sustainable. And so you really just have to set boundaries in place and do the best that you can with a limited amount of time.
Marisa, I know you're pretty busy. How do you do it?
Gosh, you know what? Initially, a person, and of course, this is all through my personal experience. Like, I was so passionate about it. Like, I would be on it all the time on social media, content creation, whatnot. But then, you know what? As Alia said, it's just not sustainable. If anything, you burn out, right? And you're like, oh, this is just too much. So I think to be sustainable, you have to have a regimented schedule. You need to have time off, right? For anything, like even working out or whatnot, you need days off. So on the weekend, I really am not as active unless I see something really cool, and then I'll just post it on, you know, the stories. But work-life balance is essential, even like health, right? So I pre-plan. Pre-planning really helps taking the from getting overwhelmed. So when you pre-plan it, like I'll just have on Sundays, I'll basically plan out, like tentatively plan out like what I want to do, what I want to achieve, what information I want to send out to, you know, my viewers, what promises I have made that I need to fulfill. Because a lot of times, you know, there are requests like, hey, can you post this? Can you share this? Can you talk about that? So like, and I want to fulfill like demands or, you know, suggestions people would like. So it's basically just having things in the pipeline that you would like to do. And, you know, I have some that are yearly goals. Then, you know, I work myself down to monthly goals. Like in this month, I should be achieving this. In this week, this is the goal. And then that way, when you set those boundaries, you don't overachieve and you don't underachieve. You basically are on a steady, you know, set pace. So yeah, boundaries are very important because oftentimes, you know, there's no dinner or there's no grocery or your friends are upset or, you know, you haven't worked out and your brain is fried and time just keeps escaping. So having boundaries is very, very important.
Great. One thing which Alia is inspiring me to do is to get on TikTok. So just like when I started Instagram, I am a little skeptical about TikTok because it's a lot of fun. Instagram is fun, but TikTok is next level. So maybe I'll dive into that. And I agree, Instagram algorithms have changed TikTok. There's more viewership. A lot of people are doing that. So I'll probably come up with that. Let me look at the questions over here. All right. So there's, could you please share your social media handles for each of you? Yes, we can share that. I think there is a link right there on the page. So definitely one thing which is very, very important, as you may have heard from Carissa, myself, Alia, is mentorship. Because if you want to start or you want to grow, there will be a time when you will be like, I'm not growing, I'm trying to create my brand, but it's not happening. Mentorship is important, so please feel free to reach out to any one of us, and we can certainly help you out. Next is, how long did it take you to get the first breakthrough? So anybody wants to take that question? How long did it take to get the first breakthrough? I mean, I guess the question is around the first sponsorship or some entrepreneurship opportunity.
So I could start. Honestly, breakthrough is such a vague term. It's not really a destination, it's a journey. So as far as breakthrough, I feel like I haven't even reached that breakthrough because, I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly achieving. So I mean, if what and milestones and whatnot are so relative, like let's say hitting 1K, that I think was the biggest breakthrough because it was like validation, like, okay, like having 1,000 people that actually want to be friends was a breakthrough. And then it just keeps going on, and it's really just a journey. So.
Yeah, for me, I don't remember because it was kind of a long time ago now. But I would say when you get to about 5 to 10,000 people start noticing you, and what I'm talking about is brands and whatnot. There is this whole concept of micro influencers, which you guys can Google. And brands are really into micro influencers. So when they do a campaign or they're promoting a product, they think, okay, do I spend like $1 million on a mega influencer? Or do I give like, $100,000 each to these big influencers? Or do I give, like $1,000 to like 50 different micro influencers? What's going to actually convert to product sales and returns? And so a lot of brands, especially small brands, are really finding influencers with a smaller following that are really like have a sticky following, so a very loyal following. So if you have like 5,000 followers and you have a lot of engagement for that 5,000, then you're in a good place to potentially either get free product or to work with them, start working with them.
Okay, great. So there's a question about derm care and seek more info on my skin condition and wanted to ask about that. So you can certainly reach out with questions using one of the handles, and maybe we can guide you with, for that, regarding that. If you have multiple interests, how should you figure out which particular interests you want to focus on and blog about? How do you narrow it down? Any tips on how to go about it step by step? Anyone?
Yeah, I'm one of those people who has a lot of interests, and I can be all over the place, but you have to force yourself to focus and figure out what it is that you really feel passionately about and that you're willing to talk about every single day. And I'm sure that once you ask yourself that question, it becomes very clear. Like for Faisal, it's cars. For me, it's skincare and beauty. For Parisa, it's books. So ask yourself, what is it that you could literally talk about every single day that you won't get sick of, and that you also want to constantly research and learn, new trends on, and spend time on, because you're going to be spending a lot of time creating content. It's not easy.
Agreed. Parisa, would you like to add something?
Yeah, like Alia, I also am very diverse. My biggest, jam are my books, but of course there's a little bit of fashion, a little bit of art. So why does one have to focus on just one? You can have many. I mean, people like change, right? So you can explore one big route. And this whole thing is a conversation you need to have with yourself because it's so relative. Nobody can tell you like, okay, this is what you should do. It is all what you're feeling inside. And then once you have that aha moment, you go with that flow, and you can always like tweak it, right? If you feel like, this is not where I'd want to take it, you can slowly, gradually change your direction. But initially, do see, are you equally passionate about various topics, or is it one that, like for Faisal, it is cars. And so, that is directly focused on cars, which, you knew from the get-go. For Alia and I, it's one big thing, but then we have little tentacles here and there. So, and it's okay.
So you can be a micro influencer in different things which you like, and then grow and see. But I think the important point is passion shows, and passion is what people are looking for. And so if you're passionate about something which you dream about all the time, and you sleep in a garage, so yeah, that's what people sense. Okay, so let's see some more questions. This one is interesting. So I think we already touched on it, but I have a full-time job. Looks like most of you have a full-time job. How do you manage family time, challenge to control kids, screen time, oh my God. And you ended up also spending time on devices as influencers, how to set example for them. Parisa, could you take that one for me?
I didn't get the last question.
Oh, it's the general idea is like screen time for kids, you want to set boundaries, but as an influencer, you have to be on the screen. So how do you, what talk do you have with your children regarding that? Is it a challenge?
That is a brilliant question, because every time I am on my phone and I could be paying a bill, right? I work from my phone just because out of convenience. I get these rolling eyes like, Mom, please stop being on Instagram. And it's like, oh my God, I'm not on Instagram every time I'm on my phone. So, but yeah, you have to practice what you preach, right? And so I try to do my chunk of screen time when the kids are not around, primarily my youngest. She is 9 years old. The eldest are not as impressionable, but whenever we're together, I don't want to be on the screen. So I try to do the chunk of it, like before they're awake or after they go to sleep. And I sneak some time in between, but we have a lot of rules in the house, such as like no electronics in the kitchen or while we're eating. And the second I bring my phone out, it kind of, sets the stage for others. So yeah, as a social media, a person who's on often, I have to basically make sure not to have it around in front of the kids. And when I do, it's when they are not noticing me.
Okay, great. I'm going to run through some questions. They say best place or platform to find influencers for new small brand for any home or kitchen niche. I think Instagram is full. If you go and just type what you're interested in, you'll find a complete community. So I think that's a good place to do your search. What editing, producing software am I using for pictures and clips? I recommend just DM me, direct message, and I can help you out with that. This is an important question. We have just 2 minutes. Hopefully we can go over a little bit. I'm not sure, but let's say, as a physician, how does the liability piece come into play? Is the disclaimer in the bio of no medical advice sufficient? Alia?
So this is interesting because if you work for an academic institution, you need to definitely check with them what their sort of restrictions are. I think nowadays most academic institutions want to have a social media presence, and they want their physicians on social media because that's sort of the way that doctors can educate the general public. You actually don't have to say no medical advice on there, as long as you're not giving medical advice, and as long as anything that can be perceived as medical advice, you give the caveat that they should talk to their doctor, or that they should, not take it as medical advice, then I think you're sort of in the clear. I don't post stuff that's in the gray zone. I also don't talk about patients or sort of like their treatment and courses. So I'm not really, I think, as at risk for that. And then Faisal, you're blogging about cars, so I don't think you're talking about patients. People are getting like hematology advice from you.
Yes, no, definitely. Yeah, so definitely. I think this is, we have lots of questions. I'm sorry, we cannot get to all of them. We are out of time, but we'll definitely try to answer those questions. Or if you could just send those directly to our Instagram handles. This would give you, if you're not on IG, then you can start an account and send us a message. We will be happy to answer all those questions for you. So great discussion. I learned a lot and also had fun interacting with you both. This was fun. In conclusion, the social media platform is growing. Half of the world is on that. Increasingly, brands are relying on social media influencer marketing. If you are passionate about something, stick with it, take it to the next level, find a mentor who will definitely guide you. Instagram is a fun place. You'll find very many like-minded people over there or on TikTok, and have fun with it.
Yes.
All right. Goodbye, guys.
All right.
Bye. This was fun. Thanks, guys.
That's fun. Thank you.
And for anybody who's watching, feel free to reach out to us on any of our Instagram handles. I'm at ClearSkinDoc.
Yes.
Okay. I think we are live. So yeah, so ClearSkinDoc, Parisa, MK,
Yes.
and doc.supercar. Signing off.
Thank
Sure.
you
Have a great weekend, guys.
so
Bye.
much. Have a good weekend. Bye.